Hello, I am Mr. Fixit from ES Repair. The 1903 feature update has many changes to it. The first part I covered changes to the Windows updates and security, and in this video I'm going to cover a lot of the other features that are included with the 1903 feature update. One of the new features they added was the Windows Sandbox. This is a new lightweight desktop environment tailored for safely running applications in isolation. Now, I did make a video about Windows Sandbox with all the details on how you can utilize the new feature. Just simply click on the link above or in the video description below. There has been some issues between light and dark separations in Windows 10. Now, if you choose light, then what it's going to do is that all system user interfaces will now be light. Now, this includes taskbar, start menu, action center, touch keyboard, and more. Now, this feature update also adds the Windows Light theme. If you go over here to themes and scroll down, you'll notice it has the Windows Light theme. Now, with the options here, you can also choose if you want a light, a dark, or if you want to customize it, which allows you to pick and choose which parts get dark and which part is light. The clipboard history was redesigned to be more compact. The new design uses short clips of text to take up less space on the screen. To access the emojis, all you need to do is press the Windows key and the period or semicolon, and it will bring up this box. Now, as I said before in earlier versions, you can use this emoji in all your applications, all your documents, Facebook, whatever. And what they've done in the feature update is they added keywords to the emoji icons. And what this does is it makes it easier for you to be able to search what you're looking for. You just start typing in stuff and it will start searching for anything that you're looking for. Most of you like to use the keyboard to create facial expressions. But let's face it, some of the characters that you need require the knowledge of ASCII codes, or perhaps you even have to open the character map. When you press the Windows key and the period or the semicolon, you'll notice that besides the emojis, you also have the new option of the K-emojis. Now, K-emoji is Japanese meaning face characters. And as you can see, there's a lot of them. These are all the most common ones that you can use just simply using the characters. You'll no longer have to use the character map or have to know what the ASCII codes are to use these characters. The next thing you're going to notice is it also includes symbols. For instance, if you need the copyright symbol or uh, registered symbol, any kind of common symbols that you need that you normally had to go to the character map is all in one place now. When Windows has an update that requires you to restart the PC, you're going to start now seeing this little icon. This is the Windows Update icon that has the orange dot on it that you see here. This is to alert you that Windows has an update that needs to be installed and it requires you to restart the computer. When you click on it, you can do one of two things. You can either click the restart now, and this will automatically go ahead and begin the process with installing the update. Or if you are using the computer, then you can click schedule the restart, and then you can pick a time and day that it would be best to allow the computer to restart. In this feature update, Microsoft also added a new option in graphic settings for variable refresh rate. It's similar to NVIDIA's G-Sync, AMD's FreeSync, and VESA's DisplayPort Adaptive Sync. Variable refresh rate will only augment these experiences and does not replace them. This new option enables variable refresh rate support for DirectX version 11 full screen games that did not support variable refresh rate natively. So these games can now benefit from your variable refresh rate hardware. For mixed reality users, Microsoft has added the ability to run desktop Win32 applications like Spotify, Paint.net, and more within the Windows Mixed Reality. Now, this new feature is under development and it does currently have some known issues, so be sure to use the feedback hub if you experience any problems. The on-screen display touch keyboard also received an update to be more accurate when typing. Now, since some people can type fast, mistakes do happen pressing the wrong key. The app was updated to better detect the key pressed and predict which letter was intended. When in tablet mode, the OSD keyboard tends to obstruct text fields, and Microsoft has made improvements to help prevent the issue. Task Manager is getting two new updates. First, you're going to see the preferred tab. Anytime that you open Task Manager, of course, you see the tabs up here. And some of you like to have a specific tab that you want open every time that you want to start Task Manager. Well, in this feature update, now you can. You simply go up here to Options, and you'll see the option here for Set Default Tab, and then just select the one that you want. Now that anytime that you open Task Manager, it will automatically go to that tab. The second one it's getting is the DPI awareness column. Now this is an optional column that you can use if you want to enable it. You just right click and then choose select columns, and then you can scroll down and you'll see the DPI awareness, and just put a check mark in the box. And what this does is it will show you if the application does have DPI awareness. Now, some of you probably have seen this new icon recently, and it was first added to the always connected PCs, which means that they always had an internet connection. Now, Microsoft did add this new icon that you see here, which is the disconnected internet icon, and it's going to be running on all devices that runs Windows 10. This single icon appears when there is no internet connection detected, and it also replaces the individual disconnected icons for cellular, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet. Now, this new icon should help you quickly identify network problems so that you can take action to resolve them. If you need to configure static IP addresses for your network, you can now use the Settings app to configure advanced IP settings. To do this, what you'll do is go to your connection on the left. In this case, I'm using Wi-Fi. And what you'll want to do is go up here and choose connection. Now, you'll do the same exact thing if you go to Ethernet, just select the connection and you'll come to the next screen. Here, you're going to see your uh, information about the current network. And if you scroll down, you're going to see down here where it says IP settings. You simply just click edit and you can just choose on what you need to have. And as you can see here, it's all in the one place. You can change anything that you need to do, and it's all without having to go to the control panel. Everything will be now found under the IP settings. If you like to use different fonts, you can now drag and drop your font files to install them. All you have to do is select a font file that you need to add, drag it over to the box here that you see here. Once it's completed, you'll see it pop up down here on the bottom. Now you can also get some more fonts from the Microsoft Store. Now the other feature they added was to, if you need to uninstall the font, you just click on the font, click uninstall. You'll see the message here if you want to permanently uninstall the font family, and then just choose uninstall. And then once you uninstall it, it's going to be removed from the font family. Now, keep in mind that when you're installing these fonts in this manner, it's only going to install it for the current user. Now, if you have multiple users on this computer, then what you would do instead is if you want all users to have the same font, you can just simply right click the file that we used a while ago, and you'll see the option here where it says install for all users. This way, it will allow the computer to be able to install the same font file for all users to use. Now, if you drag and drop, you won't see any elevation or anything that's requiring you to install it. But if you do install it for all users, then you will need to have administrator privileges to do such. Now, if you go into settings, go to time and language, and you're going to see a new option. Right here, you're going to see the new option that Microsoft added in this feature update. And what this does is it allows you to manually synchronize your clock with the time server. It will show how the last time that the time was successfully synced and the address of the current server. Microsoft did add a new user interface for Reset This PC. As you can see here, it's part of the recovery. Now, the new user interface provides a more consistent experience across devices with different configurations, and it requires fewer clicks to complete. For those of you who have laptops, you're going to start noticing that instead of a button here or a tile to where you can change the brightness of your computer, you'll see a little slide bar that sits down here below these tiles. And it allows you to precisely control the brightness of your screen. Now, especially on the laptops, Microsoft did fix an issue where the display would become brighter when it transitioned from AC power to battery power. Now, when you adjust your display brightness, the brightness is now remembered. So whether or not you're on the battery or if you're back on the AC charger, the brightness will stay the same. Now, this will not affect the battery saver mode setting. So if you do have it set to a lower screen brightness on battery saver mode, then your display will still dim when the battery is below a certain threshold. Microsoft has made some improvements to the high DPI to help automatically address some issues with scaling and reduce the number of times that you see that little message that said fix blurry apps notification. So you can see better performance with higher DPIs. Users of Notepad are going to notice some updates. Microsoft did make some improvements to Notepad, and what they did is they added the option to save files in UTF-8 format, and this is without the byte order mark. And they made it the default for new files, as you see here. Now, this will make it backwards compatible with ASCII and provides better interoperability with the web, where UTF-8 has become the default encoding. Now you're also going to notice down here in the lower right, you'll notice that they did now add a section that is showing the current encoding that it's using in the document. Another thing that you're going to notice is up here in the upper left, anytime that you make changes to a document, you're going to now see an asterisk that indicates that the document has changes that has not yet been saved. Now, another thing that they've done is if you click Help, you can also now send feedback through Notepad. So if you have any problems or if you have any suggestions, you can just simply click Send Feedback and you'll be able to send that feedback back to Microsoft. Now, some of the other things that they did add some new shortcut keys. If you use the Control, Shift, and N, this will open a new Notepad window. If you use Control, Shift, and S, this will open the Save As dialog box. If you press the Control W, this will close the current Notepad window. They did fix the problem with Notepad being able to now open files that are longer than 260 characters. They also did fix an issue with Notepad where the count line was inaccurate when you had very long lines. They did fix the problem with the issue with Notepad that when you select a placeholder file from OneDrive, it used to have to download the file just to determine its encoding. Well, that is no longer the case now. It can determine the coding without having to download the file. Well, and the last thing they did fix with Notepad was Microsoft fixed the recent regression, where Notepad would no longer create a new file when launched with a file path that didn't exist. Microsoft did make some search improvements. You're going to notice that your recent activities has a bit more room to breathe. They did add some light theme support to it. It has a touch of acrylic, and it includes all the search filter options. All of your lists and reminders from across Microsoft To Do, Cortana, and Tasks in Outlook have now become one. It's all centrally located in your Microsoft To Do app. You can use Microsoft To Do anywhere on your Android, your iPhone, with Cortana, or on your Windows 10 PC. You can also access it from the web. It's automatically synced so you'll never miss a beat. They did also make some changes to File Explorer. You may notice now that down here, while I'm in the light theme, you're going to see that the icon for File Explorer has changed. This is to make it look a little better and easier to see in the new light theme. With many files that you download, it's often hard to remember these odd file names like these here. Now, Microsoft did update the default sorting to show the most recently downloaded file at the top of the list instead. Now, this will only work for people who have not changed the sort order. But if at any time that you want to change the sort order, you can do that from the view option here at the top of File Explorer. Microsoft now has the new raw image extension in their Microsoft Store, and this will let you view image thumbnails, previews, and camera metadata of previously unsupported raw files right in File Explorer. You can also view your raw images at full resolution in the apps such as Photos or any Windows app that uses the Windows Imaging Component Framework to decode your raw images. The Start menu layout has been simplified into a sleek one-column design with reduced top-level tiles. When you update to this build, you'll notice that your Start layout won't automatically change to the new layout because they want everything to be exactly as you left it before you did the update. Now, they did make some optimizations to the Start. They did simplify the debugging and insulating the Start from potential issues from other parts. It will no longer suspend, and it does improve the launch time. Now, if you have groups, they did make it easier to unpin groups. You simply just have to right-click the group and then choose the option to unpin group from Start. If you check into the Focus Assist options, you're going to notice that Microsoft did add a new option. And what this option now does is it allows you to do anything in full screen and it will automatically turn on the Focus Assist. Now, in previous versions of Windows 10, you had to go into settings in order to be able to change your quick actions here. And what they've done now is if you right click on one, you can now have the option to edit quick actions. And what this will do is that you could just rearrange any of these in any order that you want. If you need to delete it, just click one of the icons here and it will remove it. If you need to add, you just click and select the one that you want to add. When you're finished, you click done. you are going to now see a new microphone icon that you see here. And what this is going to do is it's going to let you know which application is actually using your microphone. Now, you can also double click it, and this will open the microphone privacy settings to control what applications can and cannot use the microphone. Now, if multiple apps are using a microphone, then it's just going to list how many are actively using your microphone. Another thing that you're going to notice is Microsoft did bring the shadows back. If you look closely, you'll see these little shades or shadows that you see on the edges of the windows now. In the earlier versions of Windows, you could only uninstall certain inbox applications, as they call it. You can uninstall Microsoft Solitaire, My Office, OneNote, Paint 3D, and so forth. Well, it was limited. Well, with this feature, you can now uninstall the 3D viewer, the calculator, calendar, Groove Music, Mail, Movies and TV, Paint 3D, Snip and Sketch, Sticky Notes, and Voice Recorder. This new feature update for the 1903 has also improvements for the print dialog. Now, the print dialog now supports the light theme, as you can see here. They did update the number of printing options to now include the icons. This also help you to quickly determine which one you need. You're going to also notice that they did add a line of description to some of the drop-down settings, as you see here, to help identify what this is for. Another thing that you see change is the printer name. If you have a printer that has a long printer name, then it's instead of it being cut off as it did before, this time it's going to wrap around to the next line so you can see the entire name of the printer. For those of you who use Office, you're going to notice that Microsoft has now introduced the Office app. This app is based on the redesigned Office.com experience. It's a great starting point for Office that helps you to easily find all your files in one place. Or you can easily access any Office solution available to you. Now, the application is very smart. It knows to connect you to your Office clients if you have them installed, whether it's Word or Excel and so forth. Um, and if it's not, then it will automatically take you to the web version of Office if they're not installed. If you are a Google Chrome user, you're going to notice that Microsoft now has an extension that can be used in Google Chrome. Now, this extension does collect activities from the browser, and it adds them to the timeline in Windows. Now, you can go to the Chrome Web Store and download the Web Activity extension by Microsoft. All you have to do is just sign in to the extension on your Chrome browser with your Microsoft account, visit a site in Chrome, and then watch it appear in Timeline. Your Chrome activities will also sync with Timeline on Android devices using the Microsoft Launcher app. And finally, we have reached the ease of access. You're going to notice many changes that have been done to ease of access. Most of these were done to narrator. One of the things that they also added was the new cursor size. You can also change the size of your pointer, and you can also change your color. Now, there are a couple of issues where some cursor sizes may not work correctly on the DPIs larger than 100%. Narrator did receive a lot of these new updates during the 1903 feature update. One of them was that they added the narrator home. This allows you to access everything you need for narrator. The narrator home, such as quick start and settings, are now just buttons and not list view items. Now, if you go to narrator settings, you're going to notice that you can choose a voice here. Well, you're going to also now notice that you can add more voices. You can download additional voices in other languages without having to download language packs. Next thing on the list is that they did add 5 new verbosity levels and settings that do control the amount of information you hear about text, controls, and other document attributes. Now, in the new update here, they did turn off phonetics by default, but you can always come into narrator and you can turn on hear phonetics as you read by character. And if you do not want to hear advanced details like the help text, buttons, and other controls, you also have the option here that you can turn on and off. And if you scroll down further, you're going to see that you can have new options as to what keyboard keys that you can choose to have spoken when they're pressed. Now, if you scroll further down, you're going to see the narrator cursor. Now, in previous versions, the mouse did not follow the narrator's cursor. Now, with the new feature update, you will be able to now control the move of the cursor whenever the narrator cursor moves. The mouse cursor will move with it. Now, for users who are using Braille, they did update Braille with Narrator. It does use the Braille TTY version 5.6 to add support for Interceptor and Orbit 20 displays. Braille Note Touch is recognized when using USB. Uh, LibLewis, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Binaries, tables have been updated to version 3.7. Now, they did also made some improvements to Chrome. You can now use up and down arrows in scan mode, navigating with tab key, continuous reading commands, and navigating by headings and links, now all support in Chrome. Now, they are making some more functionalities and stuff in the future updates, so stay tuned for those updates. They did improve some reading and navigating experiences with Chrome and Narrator. They did improve interacting with Chrome's menus with Narrator. If you're in Edge, Narrator, they did make changes with Narrator so it won't announce non-selected when you navigate between cells. Narrator also will not announce when you exit or re-enter a table when you're reading a single table continuously. Reading and navigation commands stay within web page content areas when you're using most web browsers like Edge. It also works when you're reading emails in Outlook and the Mail app. Narrator will now tell you when you have navigated to links, but it will not read the entire URL. If you're in Excel, Narrator now prioritizes reading the data in a column header before announcing whether a filter is on. Narrator also correctly reads out column headers in a grid formatted as a table when you use the read current column header command. There has been updates to capitalization reading. Now that's available and it will accentuate capitalized, mixed cases, and uppercase words. You can also now use the narrator text reading commands to read a full window from top to bottom. Views options are consistent whether you are reading text. Narrator now recognizes combo edit controls and will speak them as combo edit instead of just edit. Now, if you ever had to reset your PIN or your password, Narrator will now stay on during that process. And if you would like to provide feedback, they did change the keystroke for that. The new keystroke is the narrator keys, Alt and F. This will work both in the standard and legacy keyboard layouts. Now, do note that the legacy layout also uses the narrator key and the letter E to send Microsoft feedback. And they also improved the reading of controls while navigating and editing, and they also improved table reading in PowerPoint. Well, this concludes this video. To stay up to date, be sure to click subscribe and click on that notification bell so you'll know as soon as I get a new video up. Well, I'm your host, Mr. Fixit. Thank you for watching.